Some silences feel heavier than shouting, like the kind that hangs when she's close enough to touch, but says nothing. It started with a joke, or at least, that's how she said it. What happens in this house, she laughed, stays in this house. The way she said it didn't sound like a joke. I wasn't supposed to be alone with her. I was just crashing at my friend's place for the weekend, some renovation mess at my apartment. He was out late. Said his mom wouldn't mind. Said she'd probably be in bed before I even got there. But she wasn't. She was on the couch, reading. Glass of wine balanced on the armrest. Hair up. Reading glasses perched on her nose, like she forgot they were there. Her robe was too thin for the cold in the room, and she pulled it tighter when she looked up at me. "You're taller than I remember," she said. I didn't know what to say to that. I think I said thanks. Or maybe I didn't say anything at all. I'd met her once, briefly. Years ago. She'd driven us to a concert, then vanished before we even got through the gate. She wasn't just someone's mom anymore. Not to me. She offered me tea. I said yes, but neither of us got up. Her eyes flicked back to her book, then back to me, as if reading wasn't what she wanted to be doing. "It's strange," she said finally. "The house feels different when it's quiet." I nodded, though I wasn't sure what she meant. Maybe she wasn't talking about the house at all. The quiet settled again, but this time it didn't feel empty. It felt full, pressurized, like something was about to tip over. She closed the book gently, not marking the page. "You okay sleeping in the guest room?" she asked. "Yeah, of course." "You remember where it is?" I nodded. "Down the hall. First on the right." A long pause. "I'm glad you're here," she said, and then looked down, like maybe she regretted it the moment it left her mouth. I tried not to stare. Her fingers traced the rim of her wine glass absent-mindedly, and the way her hair had come undone made her look softer than I expected. Less put together. More real. "You can stay up, if you want," she added. "I'm not tired." It didn't feel like a suggestion, but I stood anyway, mumbled something about unpacking, and walked down the hall like a coward. The guest room smelled like cedar and old laundry. I sat on the edge of the bed, fully clothed, heart pounding for no good reason. My phone buzzed. A group text from my friend, still out, half drunk, telling me not to burn the house down. I didn't reply. I lay back, staring at the ceiling, trying to get her voice out of my head. That laugh. The way she said it. "What happens in this house?" I heard footsteps outside the room. Light ones. Bare feet on hardwood. They paused by the door. Then came a sound I didn't expect. A knock. Soft. Hesitant. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Another knock. Then her voice. Quiet. Almost uncertain. "Can I come in?" I opened the door. She didn't step in. Just leaned against the frame, arms crossed loosely, like she wasn't sure why she'd come. Her eyes didn't meet mine right away. "Couldn't sleep," she said. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. She glanced past me at the bed. "Mind if I sit?" I moved aside. She sat at the edge, careful not to touch me, though the bed dipped enough to make our legs almost brush. "I used to come in here when he was little," she said, voice quiet. "When he had nightmares." I looked at her. "Your son?" She nodded. "He'd always say there was something in the closet. Monsters. Shadows. Something." I'd sit here until he fell asleep. A faint smile tugged at her mouth. Funny how those things feel real when you're young. I wanted to say something about how some things still feel real, even when they shouldn't. But I didn't. Instead, I asked, "Did you have nightmares too?" She hesitated. "Once. A long time ago." Her eyes softened, then drifted to her lap. "My husband, we split 5 years ago. Officially. But I think we were over long before that." There was a vulnerability in her voice I hadn't heard before. Not sadness exactly, more like tired honesty. "Was it messy?" "No," she said with a bitter chuckle. "That was the problem. It was nothing. He just disappeared while sitting next to me. Stopped looking. Stopped touching. I used to miss the fights. At least those meant we still cared enough to shout." I watched her fingers pick at the hem of her sleeve. She had perfect nails, except for the middle one, slightly chipped. It made her feel more human, less untouchable. She looked up suddenly. "And you? Heartbreaks yet?" "One," I said. She said I was too quiet. Too intense. Like I made her feel watched. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. Did you? I exhaled a quiet laugh. Maybe. She didn't look away. You are intense. I swallowed. The air felt thinner. I keep thinking, she said slowly, that if I were 20 years younger. Don't, I interrupted. Don't say that. She blinked. Why? Because you're not. And I still can't stop thinking about you. The room went still. She turned to me, eyes locked on mine now. You shouldn't say that. I know. A long silence fell between us. The kind where every second stretches. Where everything unsaid screams louder than anything spoken. Then, gently, she reached out, barely touching my wrist with her fingertips. A ghost of a touch. But it burned. Neither of us moved. Not forward. Not back. Just stayed there, in that impossibly full silence. And then, she whispered, not to me, but to the floor, I don't know what I'm doing. Her fingers were still on my wrist when we heard the front door open. Both of us froze. Footsteps. Laughter. My friend's voice, muffled and drunk. Mom? You up? I brought leftover pizza. She pulled her hand back like it had burned her. Stood up too quickly. Adjusted her robe. Didn't look at me. I sat there, chest tight, trying to slow my breathing. Go, she whispered, eyes on the hallway. Pretend you're asleep. She slipped out without waiting for an answer. I stayed frozen for a few seconds, then kicked off my shoes and threw myself under the covers just as the bedroom door swung open again. This time wider, brighter. My friend stood there, holding a greasy box. Yo, you awake? I rubbed my eyes and pretended to yawn. Barely. He tossed the pizza on the side table. I'm crashing. Eat it or not. Mom's acting weird tonight, by the way. She barely said 2 words. I nodded. She seemed tired. He squinted at me for a second, then shrugged. Whatever. See you tomorrow. Door shut. Silence again. But not the same kind. I kept seeing her face. The way she touched me like she hadn't meant to. Like something slipped through her defenses by accident. At breakfast, she avoided my eyes. She wore a loose sweater, hair down this time. No makeup. More beautiful than last night. Somehow. More real. My friend sat between us, oblivious, scrolling through his phone. I'm heading out, he mumbled, stuffing toast in his mouth. Meeting Laura. I'll be back late. She nodded. Be safe. When he left, the silence rushed back in. She stood at the sink, rinsing a mug that didn't need rinsing. I stood behind her, hands in my pockets, unsure of the rules now. About last night, I started. Don't, she said quickly. We were tired. The wine. The late hour. I crossed a line. You didn't. I did. She turned, eyes sharp now. This can't happen. I took a breath. Why not? She stared at me like I'd asked something unforgivable. You're my son's friend. I'm not a kid. No. But I'm old enough to know better. I stepped closer, just enough that I could smell her shampoo. Do you regret touching me? Her silence said everything. But then, she looked away again. Even if I didn't, it doesn't matter. We stood there, both holding back something impossible. And then, without warning, her phone buzzed on the counter. A message preview lit up the screen. Call me. I miss you. M. She grabbed the phone quickly, too quickly, and turned it face down. I stared at it. Is that? She didn't answer. I felt something in my chest twist, jealousy, confusion, maybe both. And still, even with that, I couldn't stop looking at her. I don't care who he is, I said quietly. Her voice cracked when she replied. I wish I didn't care either. She avoided me all afternoon. I heard her upstairs, pacing. Heard her door close. Open. Close again. Like she couldn't settle. Like she was trying to outrun whatever was building between us. I sat in the kitchen, drinking cold coffee and replaying her voice from earlier. I wish I didn't care either. That name on her screen, M. Who the hell was M? A boyfriend? X? Someone who still had her attention? Jealousy isn't supposed to make sense. It's not logical. It just burns. By the time the sun dipped low, I couldn't sit still anymore. I climbed the stairs, slow at first. Then faster. Her bedroom door was cracked open. She was standing by the window, arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold something in. She turned when I knocked softly. I said we shouldn't. I know. I cut in. I know what you said. And I tried. I tried to ignore it. I tried to respect the rules you haven't even said out loud. But I can't pretend anymore. She blinked. Didn't move. I stepped inside. Who is he? I asked. The one who misses you. That's not your business. Maybe not. But I want it to be. She laughed once, soft, tired. You don't know what you're asking. Then tell me. Her voice trembled. He was someone I leaned on. After the divorce. We were never really anything. But he still calls. Still thinks I'm his when he feels lonely enough. My jaw clenched. And are you? No. She turned back to the window. But some days, it's easier to answer the phone than feel completely alone. I stepped behind her, close enough to feel her warmth. You're not alone now. She turned. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time, she didn't look away. I hate that you make me feel this young, she whispered. Like I don't know better. Like I don't see what could happen if this goes wrong. I don't want it to go wrong, I said. But it will, she breathed. You'll leave. Find someone your age. I'll be the story you tell once. Something reckless. Temporary. No, I said, firmer now. You're not some phase. I see you. I've seen you since the moment I walked in that door. Her hand rose to my chest, just barely resting there. You have no idea what you're doing to me, she said. Then stop me. Silence. Her fingers curled slightly, gripping my shirt. I can't. Our faces were inches apart. Her breath hitched. Then came footsteps. Heavy. Coming up the stairs. My friend's voice, too close now. Mom? Where are you? She froze. I backed away just as the doorknob began to turn. Everything inside me screamed not to. But I did. The door didn't open all the way. Just a few inches. Then my friend's voice, confused. Why's your door locked? She moved faster than I thought possible, smoothing her hair, clearing her throat, voice suddenly steady. I was changing, she said, calm and practiced. Everything okay? He hesitated. Yeah. Just wanted to ask if you've seen my charger. I'll look later. The pause on the other side of the door stretched too long. Then his footsteps moved away. But something in her face changed. She shut the door softly, leaned against it, eyes closed. I can't keep doing this, she whispered. You didn't do anything, I said. She opened her eyes and looked straight through me. Exactly. And it already feels like cheating. I didn't know what to say to that. The next morning, the charger was on the kitchen counter. I wondered if she put it there, or if he already knew. She didn't come down. Not until he left again. Then she found me on the porch, coffee already cold in my hands. We need to talk, she said. The words you never want to hear. She sat next to me, but not too close this time. No eye contact. I told him you needed to go back to your place today, she said, quiet. Something inside me dropped. You're kicking me out. No, she said. I'm pulling back. Before we ruin something that can't be fixed. I laughed once, but it didn't sound right. We already broke it, didn't we? She didn't argue. I stood. Couldn't sit anymore. Couldn't breathe right with her being this calm while I was unraveling. Why pretend it meant nothing? I asked. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be this scared. I'm not pretending, she said softly. That's the problem. It did mean something. She finally looked at me. You made me feel alive. But I can't keep borrowing moments that don't belong to me. I'm not a moment, I snapped. I'm standing right here. Choosing this. Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't blink. Then maybe I'm the one who can't choose you. I turned away, and that's when I saw it. A small framed photo, half tucked behind a stack of books on the side table. Her. With M. But not just with him. Holding hands. Laughing. Matching rings on their fingers. Who was he really? I asked, pointing. Her silence told me. You're still with him. No, she said. Then quieter. Not officially. I stared at her. So, I was just what? A reminder? A rebound. Her face crumpled. You were the first thing I felt. In a long time. The front door opened again. My friend stepped in. Saw us both on the porch. Paused. Then his eyes narrowed. He looked between us like he knew. And said, flatly, What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? He didn't yell. That made it worse. His voice was low, even, like he was already bracing for the answer. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She stood slowly, shoulders straight, but face pale. "It's not what you think," she said. He laughed, just once, sharp and bitter. "Then please, tell me what is happening." "I need you to listen," she said, stepping closer. "No," he cut in. "You need to stop." His eyes flicked to me. I could feel him drawing lines and deciding which ones had been crossed. "You were supposed to be my friend," he said. "I still am." He shook his head. "You were in her room. She knocked," I said. "I didn't plan any of this. But you stayed." He wasn't wrong. "I'm not proud of it," I admitted. "But it wasn't a game." His voice cracked. "You're the only person I trusted enough to bring here." She touched his arm, gently. He didn't take advantage. Neither did I. It just happened. "You don't accidentally fall for someone half your age," he snapped. "You choose it." Silence fell. The kind that sticks in your teeth. Then he turned to leave. "Wait," I said. He paused, but didn't look back. "I didn't mean for this to happen. But I care about her. I'm not going to pretend I don't." He didn't answer. She turned to me. Eyes glassy. "What now?" she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. The way her hands trembled. The way her lips pressed tight, like she was bracing for pain. "We can't keep hiding," I said. "But I won't be a secret. Not anymore." She stared at me for a long time. I couldn't tell if she was breaking or deciding. Then she nodded, just barely. "Neither will I." Her voice was shaky, but it held. Behind us, the door slammed shut. Her son was gone. The street outside was quiet. The world had cracked open and somehow didn't notice. I stepped toward her. She didn't move. "I don't know what this is," I said, "or what happens now. But I'm not walking away." She blinked slowly. "You should." "I won't." She looked at me like she didn't believe it, but wanted to. And for the first time, she didn't pull back when I reached for her hand. We stood there, fingers intertwined. Nothing was fixed. Nothing was certain. But we chose each other. And in that moment, it was enough. 3 weeks passed before I saw him again. No texts. No calls. Just space. The kind that fills with silence and sharp memories. She didn't ask me to leave. But things changed. We spoke softer. Moved slower. Like we were building something out of the wreckage and didn't want to step wrong. Some days, she seemed distant. Not because she didn't care, but because she did. Because she'd lost one person already and wasn't sure she could take losing another. "I've never been looked at like that," she said one night, curled up beside me on her living room couch. "Like what?" "Like you see who I am, not who I'm supposed to be." I didn't say anything. I just touched her hand, held it tight. Her son showed up on a Sunday. No warning. He stood in the doorway, same guarded expression, hands in his pockets. She opened the door herself, invited him in. Didn't flinch. "I'm not here to fight," he said. I needed time." I sat in the corner of the room, waiting for him to tell me to leave again. But he didn't. He looked at his mother, then at me. "You really love her?" I nodded. "I do." He exhaled through his nose, like that answer hurt and helped at the same time. "She's complicated," he said. "I know. She likes her coffee burnt and her books sad." I smiled. "She's teaching me both." A pause. Then, he looked at her. His voice quieter. "You could have told me." She looked away. I was scared. He nodded. So was I. They didn't hug. Not yet. But the air shifted. Lighter somehow. Like forgiveness was a language they hadn't spoken in years, but were finally remembering. Months passed. The relationship didn't get easier. But it got real. We didn't hide. We didn't explain ourselves to strangers. She met my parents. I met her past. We found our rhythm. Coffee in the morning, long walks on weekends, arguments about laundry and aging and how fast everything moves when you're finally paying attention. Sometimes she still pulled away when things got too quiet. Sometimes I still wondered if I'd ever be enough. But when she touched me, really touched me, every doubt faded. We weren't perfect, but we weren't pretending. Last week, I woke up to find her watching me, lights spilling through the window, her fingers tracing lines on my arm. "What?" I asked, still half asleep. I used to think I was too late for love, she whispered. But I think maybe I was just early for this. I didn't have words for that. I just kissed her wrist, held her a little closer. Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next?